Hello, this is Roland. Just wanted to stop by to talk to you about something very important you may not have ever thought of before. I'm sure you've heard terms like temptation and sin, and you thought they were just words. But actually, they're very real things. And I will explain it to you very shortly, so you'll be able to actually see it for yourself. The universe was created out of stillness. In the still center, God lives in a timeless dimension. From this timeless dimension came forth the energy of movement, the energy that caused movement. And from movement came the whole universe that you see around you, with the stars and the planets and the electrons spinning. The whole universe is in motion, perpetual motion. But it began with one thing, very simply. It began from the still center and went forth. And then from the stillness came movement. And then came the alternation of movement and rest. Movement and rest. And the whole universe is built upon movement and rest. Okay? And it began in the most wonderful stillness, the most wonderful rest. With God and from God. Now, for example, the heart beats, movement. Your whole life is built upon your heartbeat, movement and rest, movement and rest. The little child is in the womb. The child comes from the stillness of the womb and bursts forth in activity and life from the stillness. Okay? Now, I begin every day with meditation, and I encourage other people to do the same thing, a proper meditation. A meditation similar to that which is called contemplation, or the prayer of stillness, or the prayer of silence, practiced by the mystics like St. John of the Cross, Teresa of Avila, Brother Lawrence, St. Francis de Sales, people like that. Stillness, Madame Guyon. And it's a way of detaching from thoughts and observing thought, not blanking thought, not blanking, trying to make the thoughts blank, nor trying to think of rosy images and beautiful scenes, which playing with the imagination. No. Instead, stand back from the imagination, stand back from thought and observe thought. It's like looking at a pink elephant. If you try to hold on to a thought of a pink elephant, it dissolves. Something like that. But when your soul is separate from thought, when you are still, when you become still, your soul is still, then your soul is actually in the timeless dimension, close to God. And then from that timeless dimension, something is downloaded, some ethereal stardust that will become realizations and insights and beautiful thoughts and understanding and wisdom, and all the good will come from it. Okay? Now that's the human life. You can see every day is activity and then rest. Activity and rest and the good life. The spiritual person begins the day with meditation, which is a commitment to have God in your life. And then you move forth. But temptation, on the other hand, is something entirely different. I'll just give you a hint. It's reacting to something on the outside. Its movement comes from stimulus, from emotion, an inward motion, an inward motion. That inward motion of emotion then leads to motion. But that motion is based upon the temptation as the cause, instead of God as the cause, from stillness. Now it's from the temptation, the enticement, the prod, the challenge, the pressure. See? It's a whole different life. It's a life of ambition. And it's a life of suffering. And a life of futility and without rest. See? Of tension and release, and tension and release. So I've given you a hint now of what temptation is. It's a whole different way of life, and it's the only life most people know. Subject to pressuring authorities, goading authorities, and challenging authorities. So you must find the stillness. You must find the original life for which you were intended, which God intends. Then you will know meaning and purpose and peace of mind. My name is Roland.